But you know what? It's okay, because the base game of Elden Ring is so big, who knows which items or quest lines I haven't gotten to yet? Which secret bosses haven't I fought? Oh. I've been here for a long time. How many hours? How many days have I spent in this prison? That's the question. What else is there to do in Elden Ring before Shadow of the Erdtree drops its juicy, voluptuous content on my face? It goes without saying that there's plenty of challenge runs available to partake in. There's no hit runs. No death runs. No dodging runs. Only level certain stat runs, naked runs. Can I edge for the entire duration of a 100% run runs? So many options. And there's also plenty of mods out there. But why would any of us actually do these things? I mean, if you feel compelled to do so, by all means, go ahead. But that's not really my style. See, what I've been doing in Elden Ring for the past 2 years is this. New Game Plus. And that's basically it. Now, I know some of you out there may have seen the relatively low number of hours that I've put into this game and are also seeing now that I'm only on New Game Plus 6, and all you see are rookie numbers. No, I have not been exclusively playing Elden Ring for the past 2 years. There's other games that exist and also a whole real world to explore just beyond my front door. But I have consistently been coming back to this game like every month, putting in a few hours here and a few hours there. The only game I've ever no-lifed was Destiny 2, but that was a long time ago. And that was a live service game. I've probably put more hours into Modern Warfare 3 within the past year than I have into Elden Ring, because there's always a grind. That's just how it is with live service games. The Souls series requires you to sell your soul to Miyazaki for your first few playthroughs only. And once you're OP and have all the cool stuff, you're basically free, you can go now. But at least that's my experience. There are some people that will just beat a Souls game once and be like, that's it, and I have never been so baffled by something in my entire life. Even with Elden Ring, the biggest Souls game yet, it's pretty easy to beat it once you've done your first go-around. Sure, your first playthrough might be 120 hours long, but your first New Game Plus will most likely be half that. And what I found is that the time keeps getting shorter the more you keep going on through the New Game cycles. And it's because you keep getting more powerful. Now, I know the whole point of New Game Plus is that it gets harder each time, but that's really only the case with the older games like Bloodborne and Demon Souls. Elden Ring, Sekiro, and Dark Souls 3 are all pretty consistent in their difficulty, ascending through the New Game Plus cycles, at least what I have noticed. Sure, once you get towards the higher ones, like what I'm noticing with Elden Ring right now, it does get a bit more difficult, but eventually it's going to plateau because the difficulty stops increasing at a certain point, and it'll all just stay the same after that. And I think it's after New Game Plus 7.
Stars of the midnight ranges, shining through the night. Stars of the midnight ranges, light my way tonight.
But this effect is very prevalent in Elden Ring, as you can farm runes easily, crafting a character that can do pretty much anything with extreme direction and magnitude. This, while very entertaining, can also be a con, because when everyone is super, no one will be. Oh, and in the middle of this, I just realized that I said Dark Souls 1 was released in 2009 in my last video. That was a lie. It was released in 2011. Demon Souls came in 2009. I'm such a failure. Anyways, With so much power, things become easier and thus more trivial. So I rip and tear through Elden Ring at this point. Okay, mostly I rip and tear. And this happens with all games. You become so powerful and so familiar that the mystery has kind of faded away and you're just sitting there doing the same things over and over and over, trying to relive the past. So this is why I'm going insane. And I think with video games, that's not really a bad thing to do because it's just a recreational activity. You know, if you find something that's fun and you just keep doing that fun thing, I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as it's not completely brain dead. But once again, I play Call of Duty, so just forget what I said. However, despite all this, you can still get up to some shenanigans. Something I would like to highlight in this video is Miquella's Needle. This is essentially the most elaborate and involved questline in the whole game, and I'm wagering that most people have never done it. This includes me. And what better time than now, when Miquella's DLC is announced and has a trailer, for us to do this questline. It's a quest that is the summation, sort of, like 2 or 3 other quest lines, depending on how you look at it, that results in you obtaining a super special item and then using it in a specific location to reverse a certain bad thing you may have done. So, if you follow the Flame of Frenzy questline all the way to the end, then you'll find yourself at the bottom of the Lanedale sewers, and in this secret catacomb place. To get here, you need to go kill this specter version of Moog that's down here for some reason. The wall behind him is illusory, so go through it and descend all the way down to the bottom of this horrendous jumping puzzle while evading the literal volcanoes that spew from the eyes of these zombie merchants. But do not miss the merchant drip that's hiding within this tent. You have to destroy it with the enemy's frenzy attack. It's the only way. Now that you're all the way at the bottom, you can come into contact with the 3 fingers, which, yes, is exactly what it sounds like. 3 big fingers. I don't know how or why these things exist, but they do, so let's just roll with it and not think about it too much. If you strip naked and let them hug you, then they'll brand you and basically lock you into the game's evil ending. It's one of the evil endings, and a lot of people think it's the worst, but I'd rather literally destroy the entire world instead of making friends with a rapist and cursing the whole world with his STDs for all eternity. And before you ask, yes, that is basically what happens in the Dung Eater questline. So once you're locked into the Frenzied Flame ending, Melina Waifu is gonna let you know that you've made a pretty bad decision.
Flame, a pity. You are no longer fit. Our journey together ends here.
Sorry.
And remember, should you rise as the Lord of Chaos, I will kill you. As sure as night follows day.
And it's surprising she doesn't do this when we side with Dung Eater, but whatever. I suppose eating poop and spreading it everywhere is more socially acceptable than just killing everyone. So now that you feel all guilty, you have one chance to make things right. And it starts with traveling to Caelid. Now, since the whole interaction with the 3 fingers is pretty late in the game, you've probably already talked with Gowry in his little shack, as he calls it. But perhaps after all this time, you've never known where his quest line takes you. He'll tell you to go find this chick named Millicent in this church up the road. Obviously, she's inflicted with some serious illness and needs to be cured, so we travel into the middle of the Aeonian swamp, like Gowry says, and kill this captain military guy to pick up an item called the Unalloyed Gold Needle. Giving this needle to Millicent, she inserts it into her flesh, which heals her sickness. At least for the time being. Now, there's a bunch of lore on how this needle works, but basically when it's in its fully completed form, it has the ability to deflect the influence of the outer gods, which will be very useful to us since we're trying to undo our acts with the Flame of Frenzy, which I guess by proxy is controlled by an outer god. I don't know. Now, we've got some ping-ponging to do. We're going to be bouncing between Millicent's positions on the map as she will travel to a bunch of different places, and you'll have to follow her there and talk to her to progress the quest. Now, the next step is to get to the Halig Tree and meet Millicent again, but if we are going to reach the Halig Tree, then we'll have to solve the little candle puzzle in the liturgical town. And to get there, we need to get to the consecrated snowfield. But to get there, we have to obtain 2 halves of a broken medallion. So go kill that Commander Niall character up in the Castle of Sol.
Oh no!
Then go to Liurnia to find that guy hiding in the pot right here, and he'll give you the other half. Also, give him a pat on the head because he's just had to watch his entire village get slaughtered. Oh no, he's dead now. Now that you have both halves of the Halig Tree Medallion, you need to get to the Grand Lift of Rold and hoist that bad boy right on up there. This, instead of transporting you to the mountaintops of the giants like normal, will instead take you to the consecrated snowfield, which is where we want to be. Now, we must find our way through the fog and reach the liturgical town, a refuge for these Albinoric guys, which are like people that are persecuted throughout the land between. You know, really sad story with those guys. Make sure to mercilessly kill all of them and solve this stupid puzzle to open the portal that takes you to the Halig Tree proper. So now we follow this area all the way to the Loretta boss fight, kill her, go down to the elevator, and find Millicent in this prayer room. Keep going through this area until you reach the drainage channel. This is a really nice, serene, and peaceful area that... So kill this mini-boss and then reset the area. You'll be given a choice: assist Millicent and progress the questline, or choose to kill her for no apparent reason. But really, if you want to progress the quest, then you'll need to help her. Even so, she still ends up dying, but at least it's as her own person or whatever. Apparently, Gowry had this elaborate plot to groom her to be the next Melania because she's like related to her somehow. From Millicent's corpse, you'll get back the unalloyed gold needle from before. Now, this is the hard part. After all of this, you need to defeat Melania, so have fun with that. Now, insert your needle into Melania's flower.
What did he say?
And from this you will receive Mikola's needle and a somber ancient dragon smithing stone too. Wow. And after all that, it is still not over, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm tired, boss.
Our next goal is to reach Crumbling Farum Azula, which is essentially the last main area of the game. If you go down this secret pathway down these rocks, you will stumble into a sort of coffin, or whatever that is, and get sucked into this scary vortex that takes us, you guessed it, to a place beyond the flow of time. Now, there's going to be this giant dragon looming over you up in the sky. Do not walk towards it, unless you want to fight him, which I do recommend because it's a pretty cool boss. But you do not have to kill or fight the boss to use the needle. But this is the only place in the entire game where we can use it. So insert Miquella's needle into yourself, and the influence of the Frenzied Flame will no longer be upon you. Now, you are no longer locked into the Frenzied Flame ending, and you can do whichever ending you like. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. It's a quest that requires you to nearly beat the whole game and do a bunch of weird, convoluted stuff, and not to mention, it's incredibly optional, as I'd have a hard time imagining that people would just stumble upon the three fingers, which are incredibly well hidden, commit to destroying the world, and then just be like, yep, I don't want to do this anymore. But I guess I can understand it. You can get lost in Tomb of the Giants in Dark Souls 1, and they somehow thought that this might happen to a player without the Lord Vessel, and so there's a pathway that they designed for you to get out, even if you didn't activate that one bridge, which is super crazy. I thought I had lost my whole save, but Miyazaki, he knows me, man. He knew that I would do something like that. In all seriousness, though, I think going through the effort to obtain Miquella's needle and using it against the Frenzied Flame is a fun little goal to check off the Elden Ring bucket list before Shadow of the Erdtree drops. And after that, there will most likely be no more new content, and I'll once again be stuck in that horrible void of nothingness for who knows how long. So, just trying to, make the most of it while I can. And that's it. I'm out of here.